name's Lori Bombacco. I'm a registered dietitian and I'm also board certified as a specialist in oncology nutrition. I'm so excited to be able to speak today and for the next 6 weeks. So thank you for signing on if you are right now, and stay tuned for upcoming sessions together, same time, same place for the next 5 weeks. So what I've been asked to do is to present to you all what are some of the common questions or some of the common nutrition related concerns that individuals who are diagnosed with kidney cancer might have and might want to ask a dietitian. So I'm going to do just that. Week by week, I'm going to go through a common question that someone might ask me. And then what I'd like to do is provide you with some simple yet effective solutions and some strategies that you might want to consider. Now, as I'm presenting all of this information, I do just want to point out it is generalized, and I don't want it to replace the medical advice that you should receive. So if you have a significant concern about how you're eating or a nutrition related question, please consult with your healthcare provider and don't let any advice that I offer ever replace their advice, okay? Now, why am I here to speak about nutrition? Why does nutrition matter? Well, did you know that nutrition has a role in every single step of the carcinogenic process? So let's even start with prevention. What we do know is that there are nutrients and compounds in some of our foods that we eat that can help stop or delay the initiation, the promotion, and the progression of a cancer cell. So the way that they do this is they help fix our DNA that has been damaged. Some of the compounds have anti-inflammatory properties. Some of the compounds that we eat also exert antioxidant properties. And they also provide vital nutrients that support our immune function. Some compounds in food, we also have discovered, rev up our detoxification enzymes. How great is that? So that helps to kind of clear out the carcinogens that might otherwise be in our body. Now, we know during treatment, nutrition becomes even more critical, because during treatment, if someone doesn't really feel like eating or isn't eating a balanced, nourishing diet, they may compromise their nutritional health. And as a result of that, may lose weight, or more importantly, they may lose muscle or become malnourished. Now, malnutrition, it sort of levels the playing field. So no matter what someone's diagnosis is, what their prognosis is, or their treatment plan, if he or she is malnourished, they're not going to do as well. They're not going to tolerate their treatment. They are at increased risk for infection, and the treatment may not be as effective. So this is why we want to make sure you are optimizing what you're eating to minimize that risk for malnutrition. And an oncology dietitian like me can help provide the tailored, appropriate nutrition care plan to make sure we minimize that risk. Or we could even reverse malnutrition. But we do this best in a proactive way. So the sooner we're involved in your life, the better, so that we can minimize the chance of that happening. So we also know that nutrition is important in survivorship, or even in healing and recovery from treatment. So between cycles, or after surgery, or after definitive treatment, some specific foods and an appropriate nutrition care plan can help facilitate recovery from all of that. And so nutrition, as you can see, is really important for every single phase of the cancer care continuum. Now today, our topic at hand, the question that I thought we should start with in this series, is the question, what do I do if I don't feel like eating? So that's a major concern, right? And that's why I want to start with that one. Because if someone doesn't feel like eating, they may not eat enough, and they may lose weight, or even worse, become malnourished. So what I want to do is give you some simple yet effective suggestions to consider in order to help optimize how much and what you can eat. The first step I would suggest is to think about eating by the clock. Okay, so normally we are triggered to eat because something tastes good or because we're hungry. Our belly tells us that it's time to eat. Sometimes during cancer treatment, we lose those mechanisms, right? We lose those triggers, those cues that urge us to eat. So we probably want to eat related to some other trigger. And what I would suggest is try to eat by the clock. So every 2 or 3 hours to have a little something to eat to make sure you're fueling your body with nutrition. And these phones, these smartphones now, are so handy and so helpful, right? So I have a lot of individuals who literally schedule an alarm, or they set an alarm and they set a schedule for themselves to eat something small every 2 or 3 hours. Good tip, right? Now the next one, it takes advantage of that the operative word in that phrase, eating small frequent meals. We want to serve small portions, okay? So if you are like I am, you might eat with your eyes. So visually, we want to take advantage and exploit that opportunity, right? So sometimes if we eat with our eyes, if we see a large portion, that's going to be a deterrent for our belly. It may overwhelm the eyes and subsequently overwhelm the belly. So I encourage caregivers and even individuals to think about serving smaller portions. So for example, I have my handy dandy supplies here. I put in 2 tablespoons of almonds in 2 different serving vessels. So here's 2 tablespoons in one versus 2 tablespoons in the other. So some individuals might find this looks like a lot all at one time, while this does not, and may do better with eating all of these almonds because simply we've manipulated the way it looks. Another example is with fluids, right? So this is 1 cup of water in 2 different glasses. So an individual might find this is easier because it looks like less, and they may be able to consume this amount compared to this amount. Now along those lines, the last suggestion I have is to think about how to set the stage, right? So if you don't feel like eating may turn into something like a chore or something that is just not fun. It's a job to do, right? So we want to minimize that chance if at all possible and really entice the appetite and entice the dining experience by setting the stage. So if it helps to eat in the company of others, I find many individuals love to eat with their grandchildren and they eat more. They eat better when they do that. Or to light some candles or set a nice table or even distract themselves by watching something fun on TV or reading a book. All of these things might be important things to consider as it relates to improving or enticing the appetite. Now, what about specific food choices, right? As a dietitian, that's my job. What are some examples of nutritious choices to consider in order to optimize the nutrition in your choices? Let's start first with calories. So calories are what matter, especially if someone's losing weight. We want to maximize the calories that they're putting into their body, and I call this bang for buck. So what foods give us bang for buck? A lot of calories in a small amount. The first group are our healthy fats. So I'm going to resort to my handy dandy supply over here. So I love to recommend healthy oils like this extra virgin olive oil. I just happen to have in the kitchen also this grapeseed oil, which is a neutral flavored oil. Did you know that these oils in 1 measly teaspoon, that's this serving, 1 teaspoon, 50 calories in these oils, and they're healthy oils. So if you think about any recipe that you have, if you could add just a little bit more oil, could you drizzle some more oil into the recipe? Or you could do like the Mediterraneans do, and they drizzle olive oil on top of a finished dish at the table. And that's going to add just that many more calories per bite. Really great idea there. Another high calorie, healthy fat, got to go with the ever popular avocado, very trendy right now. And in a third of an avocado, there's almost 100 calories. So imagine, again, how much bang for your buck you get from an avocado. And I think it's delicious, but also versatile. So you can mash this into recipes, or you could spread it onto sandwiches or even toast, or dip some crackers into some mashed avocado. And certainly there are a lot of healthy fats, but also some other important vitamins that are good for our health. Next up, the ever popular commercial nutrition shakes. And if you haven't noticed, the market has basically exploded. So there's a lot to choose from with nutrition shakes. And this is where consulting with a dietitian helps, because we can help you make the best decision for you. Not all shakes are created equal, and not everyone should choose certain shakes. So we can help you make that decision. Now, what I love about these is how convenient they are, right? So they're portable. You could take it in the car on your way to treatment or drink it while at treatment. But I also love these little twist off caps. You could take a couple sips, put it back in the fridge, take it out when you're ready. And these kill two birds with one stone. They serve to hydrate you, but then they also give you bang for buck in terms of calories and nutrition. What else do I have over here? The last example I think I'm going to give is with our nut butters. So this happens to be a nut butter that I love. It's a mixed nut butter and also combines some flax and chia seeds, but any nut butter would do. And a tablespoon of nut butters give you 100 calories. That's a lot, right? And they're so delicious and quite versatile as well. So you could easily spread this again on some toast. Some people I work with swirl it into their hot cereal or into yogurt or add it to their smoothie, and they're adding those healthy quality fats for not a large amount. What else besides calories should we consider if we're not eating the way that we would hope to eat? My vote goes to protein as well. So that is the runner-up for the important nutrient to consider if you are not eating the way you'd like to. So protein choices. Let's start first with my favorite, and I make no bones about it, the egg. So this is the single best protein that we can eat. In terms of our understanding of proteins, the egg has the most complete profile in the right amounts of amino acids. And we also digest and absorb those amino acids best. So this is the highest quality protein we could possibly eat. If you agree, they're delicious and versatile. So this is great as a hard-boiled egg, just to take as a snack, right? Or to use in really any meal and add to any recipe. Other protein choices are nut butters, as I mentioned earlier. So this is sort of like a 2-for-1 deal. You get a lot of calories in your nut butters, but then you also get a little amount of protein. I also like to recommend, besides eggs, dairy as a great protein source. So things like milk or dairy alternatives are great choices to, again, enhance nutrition in small amounts, right? So a glass of milk really provides a whopping amount of protein as well as some calories. Now, I want you to be considerate about your dairy alternatives. They are not all created equal. And again, that's where a dietitian and working with one individually can help you decide which of the dairy alternatives make the most sense for you. You might be surprised to find that some of the choices are relatively low in protein, whereas some are better choices to satisfy that protein requirement. Now, besides animal proteins, right? So cow's milk, eggs, animal proteins, right? There are also a whole other world of plant proteins that can help you meet your protein goals, as well as give you some cancer protective compounds. So my vote for plant proteins go to lentils, and these are black lentils, and also quinoa. So this just happens to be a white quinoa, but both of these are so versatile, so easy to use, and really mild, so they're not overwhelming in terms of having to eat a big piece of meat on the plate. Did you know that with quinoa, you could actually make a breakfast quinoa? And we did this the other day in the kitchen. I'm going to enjoy some leftovers. So in this dish, we cooked the quinoa with a dairy alternative, a high protein milk, and we topped it with some dried coconut, some blueberries, and some pecans, and some cinnamon. And I can't wait to enjoy this, but it's a super great example of how versatile something like quinoa is. And one of my other favorite proteins are hemp seeds. So I like to recommend these to individuals who, again, are finding they are not able to eat the way that they want, or they can't eat enough, but they're having small amounts. This is a great way to top things, right? So if they have hot cereal in the morning, to add a topper of some hemp seeds, or if they're having some toast with some peanut butter, to add a little topper of the hemp seeds are going to add more protein. These are also great on top of soups or into smoothies. They add a really hefty amount. You'd be surprised. And then last but not least, one of my favorite proteins as well, this is tofu, and this is a shelf-stable version of a tofu, so I keep this in the pantry at all times. Now, tofu is great in a stir fry, it's delicious, but you would be surprised how versatile this tofu is. And think about how it's a blank slate. So really you can create a lot of different recipes and sneak this tofu in there for some cancer protection, some vitamins and minerals, but also this quality protein that we find in tofu. So those are some examples for you to consider, some tips, some solutions. Hopefully you agree that they are relatively simple and that they will be helpful. Thank you so much for joining on, and I look forward to next week. We're going to meet same time, same place. I'm going to present another common question that individuals ask me as an oncology dietitian, and I hope to provide, again, some simple yet effective solutions so that you can nourish and maximize the nourishing potential of your food choices. Thank you.